I love the show. The show's awesome.
Thank you.
I have a question for Eddie. McClintock is not a very broad name, and I was wondering if you knew if you had family in Illinois.
Do I have family in Illinois? Not that I know of.
So you can't date him.
Great, awesome. If I did, I wouldn't have to change my last name.
She's McClintock.
Oh, you're McClintock?
Yeah.
Oh, right on, right on. Yeah, I'm actually headed to London after DragonCon, and we're going to go up and see if I can find my tartan up in Scotland.
Hi, I love you guys. Totally having a scream moment right now. Okay, so I bet people have asked you this before, but if you could have any historical artifact, you could make one up, what would you like? I know you guys showed Lewis Carroll's mirror. So if you could make up an artifact that you think would be cool, what powers would it have, and what would it be?
Your dream artifact.
Well, I've kind of mine, and who said I should get new material?
All of us.
Mine would be Janis Joplin's backstage laminate from Woodstock. And the holder of the laminate could go to any concert that's ever been, so I could go and see the Doors and Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and Blood, Sweat and Tears and all these great bands. Well, I've seen Tool about 50 times, but Tool, sure, yeah. The first Tool show, which I never got to see, but yeah, man, that would be mine, because I love music, and so, yeah.
Mine's really corny. Really corny. Mine is this really strange little magic box that you touch, and we get to keep these writers that we've got in the show.
It's tugging on my heartstrings.
The show's rating keeps building at least till my son graduates college. Don't ask for everything.
So my sons.
You know how much college costs these days? It's insane. So.
Oh, what fun. Oh, mine is so typical. It's such a girl thing. Of course, the fountain of youth. I want my own private spigot, but I'll take too much and I'll end up an infant.
Actually, last year we had an episode, a Fountain of Youth episode.
That got cut.
They couldn't get it right, apparently.
That'll come back. Well, they were.
You'll take too much and you'll be your own son.
They promised that they would do time travel too in next episode.
That's right.
Deals with that.
That's right. HG.
Yeah. You know, it's magical for all of us, because we're like kids when we read the script. We get the luxury of having a read-through, which a lot of series don't have. So the actors get together, and a week before we're on a lunch break of an episode that we're shooting, we get to go through a script, and many of us haven't had time to read it even before the read-through. We're reading it cold. We're like kids, just what's going to happen? So the artifacts that come up are so imaginative. They're so interesting. I'm sure that's part of what I like about the show, is that yes, they can be, don't touch that, it's the can of worms, or in the last straw category, but very often, whether it's Rheticus's compass, or whether it was this car made from human energy that Edison made for Ford, or Lewis Carroll's mirror, or as happened last week, Torquemada's chain, they have historical accuracy, and they can be looked up. And I think it's one of the reasons, at least I'm hoping it's one of the reasons that this show is successful, is that it's become a family show that people can watch together, so that it works on more than one level. And there aren't a lot of shows that I, as a dad, wanted my kids to watch, or if I watched them, it would like for them.
I think it's really a testament to our showrunner, Jack Kenny. He really, before we even started shooting, they had all of the scripts. Maybe not in full form, but they had all the ideas for all the scripts and all the outlines for the scripts. And, it certainly doesn't work that way on a lot of shows. It just, again, goes to show that they're committed to the show. Mark Stern at Sci-Fi and our showrunner Jack Kenny and all our writers. So it's
a
we've
rare
been blessed.
combination
Yeah.
of people that makes the show work. It doesn't often happen that way. And that there's usually just a lot of smoke being blown by actors who need to say nice things about the executives because they have to. But in our case, we're really lucky. They're crazy about the show, and the relationship, while not always, in agreement, the sparks that fly are positive sparks, and it translates right from the network to the studio to the writers' room to our set. We have. I've been doing films since 1976, and I can tell you that I've never worked with a better production design team. The production design team on this is worth many of the $100 million movies that are out there. They really, really care about the show, and I think we're all the beneficiaries of it.
Hi, I just wanted to say, obviously I love the show, and I hope you guys are around for a really long time. Tia, I wanted to set your mind at ease. You are definitely not a relic.
Thank you.
And a question for Eddie and for Saul. Is there any aspiration to write or direct for the show if you're given the opportunity, or do you have any interest in doing so? You often find on genre shows that the actors do express an interest in either writing or directing.
I would love to be able to write one of the shows, but I just don't think I have it in me. It's not really, I'm more of a talking head. Just a meat puppet, as they say. Take it. As far as directing, before I became an actor, after my uncle fired me from my insurance job after college, I thought I wanted to direct, and I would be interested in it, and was interested in it until I saw the toll that it takes on the directors on our show. I mean, Jack Kenny directed our Christmas episode, and at one point on hour 18 of this one day, he looked at me and was like, "So, you want to direct?" And it's tough, man. It is not easy. So yes and no, I guess.
I think you're right. Directing episodics is its own world. It's different from directing anything else. I've directed 4 films, and if you're really interested in cult stuff, look up Jerry and Tom with Sam Rockwell and Joe Mantegna and Charlie Bailey, which is the first film I directed. It was at Sundance about 10, 11 years ago. And I've directed 3 other films as well. And from, around the $5 million budget level, the last one I made, just to tell you how hard independent movies is, we shot for under $40,000. It's called Cruel But Necessary, if you're interested in looking stuff up like that. And I looked at it, I've been doing episodics for a long time, and it really is a completely different kind of job. It's a very, very grueling, difficult job because the king on a television show is not the director. The king on a television show is the writer-producer. And so it's a political job where you're trying to be as creative as possible. It's difficult for episodic directors to fit their vision in. In fact, they don't. You don't look for people who make independent films to do it. I get enough out of doing the show as an actor, frankly. And if I thought that it would be additive, I'm not leaving it out of the question, depending on what season it is. If I felt I could offer something to the show that maybe another director couldn't because I'm so familiar with it, then I might suggest myself, given the fact that I have the credentials and the experience to do it. But, I'm happy doing this job. And I really don't feel the need to do it. That said, I am developing stuff, and I have been for a long time, for myself as a director. In fact, I'm developing an independent film that I'm hoping Eddie's going to star in to do in a year or 2. Yeah.
Love the show. I love the goofiness of all the characters and how to me it feels like there's a part of you that really comes through on that screen week after week. Yes, whatever, Mr. Canton.
It's all acting.
Eddie, this question is for you. I've become an even bigger fan just because of your love for Tool and your work with Maynard, which is not what DragonCon is about, and I love that. I'm really excited about the purple goo shirts coming out.
Oh, they're here.
Oh, they're here at DragonCon?
Yes.
Yes!
They're here.
Yeah.
I brought 288 of the Warehouse 13 Security Purple Goo t-shirts. I have made a deal with NBC Universal to design a series of Warehouse 13 shirts. And the Purple Goo shirts were, we decided to do, a crew gift this year for our crew and for the executives. And so I just said to Saul, I go, how about I'll design them and put them together and then we'll all pay for them. And everybody just liked the shirts, and I just thought, you know what if I approach the people from NBC? And I did, and they love them, and so they gave me the thumbs up, and we had them printed yesterday and shipped last night, and they're here. So when I'm out on the floor,
yeah, we'll sign them.
We'll be out there, and if you guys wanna get one, we'll
You'll have them over at the Walk of Fame?
Yes.
You'll have them at the Walk of Fame with you. Awesome.
Yes,
Great.
Okay, quick question. The episode where you lost your mind, you thought you were crazy, or everybody else thought you were crazy, and this kind of question is kind of for Eddie and for Tia. How weird was it watching him, Tia, pretend to kiss you, and how weird was it for you, Eddie, to pretend to kiss you?
Oh, it's funny you should ask about the kiss, because I've been wanting to pick a bone with you on this one. No, it's funny when you do these on-camera kisses, everybody thinks, oh, wow, how dreamy to get to kiss Eddie McClintock. Oh my God. And yes, he is all that and a bag of chips too. But
we actually bashed each other's front teeth the first time.
no, I'm not talking about that part. It was breakfast. We shot the scene in the morning and it was breakfast time. Does this ring a bell? So he's like over there hoovering his breakfast just before the scene. Other more, nicer guys would have been like spraying their mouth, a little like shit, like sanitize. He's eating bacon and eggs and French toast. It's a good thing I'm not a vegetarian, that's all I'm saying. Because I had breakfast as well.
Bacon and eggs and French toast.
What's that?
I thought you loved bacon and eggs and French toast.
Not secondhand. No, but
Sorry.
it's just one of those funny things.
Well, how about this?
Bring it.
We're getting ready to shoot the bedroom scene, and she what did she goes, you smell like mothballs. I'm like, nice. Just before we're getting ready, I'm just like moving in. She goes, ooh, you smell like mothballs. And I made sure I showered. I did I put on some smell goods because I didn't want it. And I was like, wow, mothballs.
No, I amended it. I said, oh, it's cedar. That's what it is.
Yes.